guys, welcome to another Simply Dark episode. In this week's episode, we are going to be talking about true crime, and I know I've been concentrating a lot in another different topics lately, but true crime is something that I'm really interested in, and I know that a lot of you guys out there also are very interested in this topic. So today we are going to be talking about the Setagaya murderers. And let me just start by apologizing if I'm not pronouncing the names correctly. All these happen in Japan, and Japanese, it's a very hard language to master, so I'm pretty sure a lot of the names I'm not gonna be pronouncing correctly, so I apologize in advance. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Japan is one of the most peaceful countries in the world. In a country where mass homicides are extremely rare, the murder of the young Miyazawa family shocked Japan to its core. And despite countless hours of investigation and a huge manhunt, the Japanese police never managed to apprehend the person that did this slaughter. Now let's start from the beginning. On December 30th, 2000, the Miyazawa family enjoyed a very quiet evening at home. The father, 44-year-old Mikio Miyazawa, briefly surfed the internet while his wife, 41-year-old Yasuko, watched television. Yasuko was joined by her 8-year-old daughter called Nina, and the family's other child, 6-year-old Rei, was playing by himself upstairs. The family's home was located in Setagaya, a section of Tokyo, and while Tokyo is one of the busiest cities in the world, Setagaya is somehow very secluded and very calm. And the Miyazawa family only had two neighbors. At 10:38 p.m., Mikio opened an email from work that was password protected. Police investigators deduced that it was in fact him that opened the email because he had to know the password. So this was basically the last known time that Mikio was still alive. At around the same time, an eyewitness that was walking around the park behind the family's home claimed to have heard the sounds of a family argument. And another eyewitness said that he saw an unidentified man running behind the family's home. Once the Tokyo Metropolitan Police entered the house on the 31st of December, they discovered that the killer or killers had cut off the telephone lines and were able to come inside the house through a window upstairs. They also noticed that Mikio had been strangled and stabbed multiple times, and his body was on the floor next to the staircase that leads to the second floor. On the second floor, you could find Yasuko and Nina's bodies that were also stabbed to death. Investigators noted that Yasuko and Nina's wounds were a lot worse, like they were stabbed repeatedly even after they were already dead, and this led them to suspect that the killer had something against women. Unlike the others, Rei was not stabbed. He was actually strangled by the killer, and his body was found in his bedroom in his own bed. What's peculiar about this case, and it's very different from other murder cases, is that the killer left a lot of evidence behind. First, in the house bathroom, the police found feces that the killer left behind. These feces contain traces of sesame seeds and string beans, and this kind of food was considered like mama's boy food. So the police suspected that this was someone that still lived with his mom. The police also discovered that the killer spent several hours in the house after the murders happened. He ate food from the family's kitchen, he used their computers, and he did even leave clothes behind. Police also found that these clothes have been washed in a way that it's not common in Japan, so this fact led many to believe that the killer was actually a foreigner from another country. Since 2000, the Tokyo police have handled more than 12,500 pieces of information, most of them related to the appearance of the killer. Now, so far, this is what we know about the murderer. On the day of the murder, an eyewitness reported seeing a strange man walking around the Miyazawa family's home. The man wore a gray woven yarn hat featuring a black line, a fanny pack, a scarf featuring a green, red, black, orange, and dark blue pattern, a black Uniqlo jacket, black gloves, a long-sleeved t-shirt, and white Slazenger shoes that had been made in Korea. The killer had also carried a sashimi knife into the house that he later used to carry out the murders. So one of the most interesting facts about this case is the DNA that the killer left behind. The killer had type A blood, and after several analyses, the police came to conclude that he had a mother of European origins. However, his father was from Northeastern Asia. The father DNA was found to be shared with 1 in 4 Koreans, 1 in 10 Chinese, and 1 in 13 Japanese. There's also a very strange story surrounding this case that came from a cab driver. The unnamed driver told the police that he picked up 3 men, and all of them were above the age of 30. One of these men, he said, left behind blood traces in his cab. And the driver also said that none of the men talked during the entire trip. Despite blood evidence being found also in the family's home, the killer somehow received a wound to his hand during the murders. And despite blood being found in the backseat of the cab, the Tokyo police have yet to connect anyone to these murders. Some detectives also talked about suspecting young skateboarders that used to skateboard near the house. An eyewitness even said that Mikio often had argues with these young people because they used to make a lot of noise, and the park where they used to hang out together was right behind their house, so he used to have heated argues with them frequently. The detectives thought that maybe they wanted revenge and they were the ones that did this because, actually the killer description fits a skateboarder very well. So this could be a possible lead. But in other hand, people also claim that those kids would never do something gruesome like that. In 2018, Tokyo police released more information about the killer. The killer's fanny pack had traces of sand, indicating that he spent a lot of time outside. And also inside the fanny pack was a fluorescent pen. And after this, the police finally concluded that the killer should be between 15 and 20 years old. Also, forensic testing of the clothes that the killer left behind indicated that they had been washed with mineral-rich hard water, a type of cleaning water very common in South Korea but uncommon in Japan. So police also started to suspect that the killer might have been a South Korea citizen. So overall, and especially online, there are so many theories for this case, but the fact is that none of them are proved by anything. And this is what's crazy about this case. Like, the killer left so much stuff behind and we can't trace it back to anyone. So this case is still open till this day. They are still trying to find new clues and new ways to figure out what was going on. There's loads of private detectives working in this case as well. There were, books released and stuff like that of people that say that they know who the killer is, but the fact is that there's no proof to who that person is. Otherwise, it would be in jail already. And another thing that it couldn't be identified was a motive to why this happened. There's a lot of speculation. A lot of people think it was because of money trouble, or it was because of revenge, or it was because of, there's another theory on the internet that says that the municipal authorities were thinking about expanding the park that was behind the house, and they were offering a lot of money to the families in that area. So they would sell the houses and leave so they could expand, leading to believe that the reason why the family was killed was because of money. Some people say that it probably was just a robbery that went terribly wrong, but actually the police doesn't believe that theory that much, just because the killer spent so much time in the house after killing his victims, and he didn't take anything with him. And the fact that he left so many of his things in there suggests that robbery was not the motive. So yeah, this is mainly what we know about this case so far. It's really upsetting. It's really creepy, and it's so unsettling that the person that did such terrible crime is still out there, that I don't even know how does the family cope with something like this. And obviously I just want to say that my heart and soul is with the victims of this tragedy and their family and friends, and I just wish that the person got caught. So let me know, guys, what do you think about this case? If you heard of any new leads, if you are from Japan and you know anything else that I didn't mention in here. Obviously this was almost like a summary of everything that happened till now. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please don't forget to subscribe to join the family. Please don't forget to like this video if you like true crime and you want me to do more videos like these. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye!